everyone, it's Sean from Sean's Toy Room, and I'm back again. I'm back again to make the switch between having these figures in the toy room and putting them out in the other room so that I can bring the Star Trek figures in, the Star Trek Playmates action figures, and put them in here. So that's going to be, well, I guess you could call it part 6 of Sean's toy room reorganization. So I will put all the figures on the table and we'll see what we have to sort so far. Be right back. Alright, so you have all the figures and you have their accessories in the bags here. So you have 2 Anakins, one from the end of Phantom Menace, one from the beginning. You have 2 Qui-Gons, one with a cloak, one without a cloak, and you have 1 Obi-Wan from Episode 2 with his lightsaber and his cloak, although I think his cloak is stuck on him and won't come off. But give me 1 minute. Maybe it's not stuck. Well, there's a minor miracle. His cloak is fully removable. So I suspect that Anakin's and Mace Windu's are as well. There's Mace Windu there. But anyway, we'll get on to putting them on the shelf and bringing the Playmates Star Trek figures that are on that shelf into the room. Oh, yes, and also Han and Leia, both from Hoth. Alright, so here are the figures on the shelf with all their accessories. Here are the vintage figures, which will go on the top shelf there. RoboCop, I'm actually going to move him over. So I can put him on a shelf that actually has a backing in case he falls over. There you go, see? And then you move these figures and these ones over. So what I'll do is I'll put the vintage figures on the top shelf and the modern figures down here. So I'll do that switch and then we'll see how it turns out. I forgot about these figures too. They have to move. The interesting thing is, this figure is actually a Hasbro figure. See? Not Kenner. Alright, so you got the first 4 figures on there, but I can see I'm going to have to move the Constructs bin and everything to get in there so I can actually place them properly. And I'm beginning to think that I might have to put a second row on there, which means I have to shrink their accessory bags to something that takes up less room. Because as you can see here, you don't need to have the huge accessory bags. You can use the smaller ones to put everything in. So let's see what I've got here. Well, that's almost the same size. And this one should have the smallest one. So, I thought it did. There we go. See? Now a bag this size should be able to have these accessories that I believe come from, well, they were in front of Seska, but they don't look like Cardassian equipment. But oh well, here we go. Don't want to lose anything. I mean, I've had these accessories. You can see the, from the dust. I've had that accessory since my childhood, like, well, teenage years, mid-90s. I don't have a Christmas of 1995, but then again, it wasn't Christmas of 95, it was Christmas of 96 I got Paris and Seska. Now, they won't all fit in here, but they should fit in the slightly smaller bag here. So I'll make the switch with each one of them, and then I can save these bags with the red top for the model building decals instead. Yes, the mutated Paris came with the three swamp babies. And the phaser he used to knock out Janeway. Now, look at that. You see how that tricorder is a completely different color? I don't think that comes from Paris myself. I just put it in there because it... There's a pad, or ration pack. Some kind of scientific tool. And I'll put in that tricorder anyway. Okay, good. There you go. Found the secret to getting them on their stands evenly. You rotate the stand so the arrowhead is there, and then they fit evenly, and they're not standing crooked. So that's how I solved Generations Kirk as well. We might as well go over the Ambassador Spock accessories. So you have the data pad from the Klingon ship. You have the Romulan disruptor. He pointed at Sela and said, "I'm afraid I don't know too much about Romulan disruptor settings." You have his book that Romulan youngster brought him. And it looks like a Romulan pad. Now, actually, I don't know. Let's see if they fit in the smaller bag. And don't lose anything now. It won't. I don't think. Let's see. No, the bigger bag is best. And for my back, it's better if I actually sit down while I do this. Okay, here we go. Doesn't make the bag smaller by a lot, but it makes it small enough. And I'll show you what I do. If you put it beside the figure, instead of... Now that's strange. Where is Spock's IDIC stand? So that might be one of the few things I've that has gone missing over the past years. Well, 2.5 decades, really. Now, the first contact figures are fine. They're big enough. They stay on that stand, and you can see how the stuff is beside them. So all I need to do now is fix Scotty's accessories. You see, once again, Scott had the trouble where he wasn't on his stand correctly. So just 180 degrees there. See? Now he's standing on his stand relatively straight and tall. Now this is the bag. Oh, wait a minute. You already made that adjustment. See? Okay, so you don't have to do that. And don't worry, I can use my model paint to paint Scotty's hair white again. I had clumsily used liquid paper way back in the late 90s to try and, you know, age him up to how he looked in Generations. Or Relics. This is his appearance in Relics. Lastly, we have Dr. McCoy. So once again, well, Admiral McCoy. And you can see his stand actually says there's a short form for Admiral. So you just rotate the stand at 180 degrees around, 90 degrees around. And you can see how I'm going to have to get some gray paint from my model building and touch him up like I did Picard, and his hair as well. And you see the darker, almost gunmetal gray of his piping? Well, that's going to have to be fixed as well back there. So, whereas I didn't have to fix Ambassador Spock at all. Because by the time I got Spock, which I think was Christmas of '95, I had learned to stop playing with the figures just to keep them pristine, so he doesn't have any problems with paint application. He's as pristine as the day I took him out of the package in 1995 Christmas. But I do consider it a minor miracle that I've been able to keep those accessories intact. But I have had this yellow container since the mid-90s. And I put all these Star Trek trivia cards in there. And if you look at the bottom, well, look. There's a Darth Maul lightsaber. But I already have a carded Darth Maul figure right here. You see? Same lightsaber. So now he has a spare. That's good news. Because one of these... lightsaber with removable blade. See? See, this one does not have a lightsaber with a removable blade. And if you look at the bottom of this one, it doesn't either. See how it's solid? Just like that one. Whereas the one from Naboo, see the hole in the center? See the spare blade to make it into a saber staff. So that is, that's something. What else is in this yellow container here? You have, now, it was some kind of plasticine, but actually harder, because we had to bake them in the oven. We made the planets. When I visited my friend Joel, my last day in Aurelia back in 1989, we made these little planets. Oh, and look. A star. It's still sealed after however many years. Star Trek pad. So it's a tiny, tiny card. But as you see, the planets are still in there from the solar system. That, I believe, is the sun. This is probably Venus. Uranus, because it's green. Dark blue, that must be Neptune. I guess we didn't have a light blue. Red, maybe it's Jupiter. Okay, and a few asteroids. But all I know is that stuff has been in there for a very long time. And I just put these cards on top of it. But the thing is, once you have once it's time to move stuff, you'll have the bags with their accessories in it. So for right now, we put McCoy's bag. Now, let's see. This pad, the sticker stayed on it, as you see. And if you open up this, you see? This pad here is actually detachable. But it is designed to fit right in the case. And the case is designed to close. And you can see all the other embedded machines and everything. Now, it's actually a teal green to my eye, but it's more like a blue. And look. It's the same color of tricorder, but that is a clearly 24th century medical tricorder. So you have the case with the pad in it. You have the medical tricorder. You have a 24th century hypo spray. You have some other medical diagnostic tool. This looks a lot like Scotty's tool, but it is actually a medical tool of some sort. Although that could be left over from Riker, come to think of it. Actually, just a moment. They are slightly different colors, see? This is a deeper green than this. This is more medical blue. So that means that I have discovered a couple of accessories that'll go with my childhood Riker. The engineering tool and the regular tricorder. So what you do is you put them in the smallest bag, say this one. There you go. And then you have these for the regular Riker. Doesn't have his phaser, but at least he has those. All right, you can see here the idea. You alternate the figures so that you can see all their faces. You see? And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put Sarek up here with Spock. I'm going to put Data, because Data got along with Scotty. And there's Riker and his accessories. Excellent. All right, so there's Sarek. And then you put Generations Kirk up here, making sure not to block the view of Ambassador Spock, who is, of course, standing in front of. So there's a revised class photo of the top. And if you carefully move the figures just enough, you can get a good class photo of the first contact figures. See? There you go. And then you move the other figures into position. Like that. Once again, and forgive the dimness, I'm going to have to fix it in the post. I'm having to use the digital camera to pick up where the cell phone left off, because the cell phone runs out of room because half of it is always taken up with the stupid applications that, quite frankly, serve no useful purpose as far as I can determine. But you've got the Commander Riker stuff, including the card. There's the Picard. Get it? Picard. So he's here. And you've got Thomas Riker here with his, these are his accessories. There you go. And then you have motion picture Spock. So these are the regular Playmates things. Good thing is, the digital camera has a flash when it takes the photo. So here's the Spock stuff with the parts of the V'ger probe. And right here I will put the 2009 Elder Spock. So as you see, there is room enough for a third row of figures. Well, actually, wait a minute. There. So, excluding the cards, you could probably fit at least 2 more figures up there. And you know, if you take the card out of the equation, then you should, there you go, and push Riker and the other figures back a bit. There you go. There you go, see? Excellent. There you are. Now, shift motion picture Spock over just a bit. Shift Picard over just a bit so that Riker can fit in here. There you go, see? Now nobody is blocking anyone from the class picture. You can see all their faces. Now I see why the military does it this way. And now we'll move on to the Star Wars figures and put on their shelf. Okay, so there you go. So you have 2 rows of the Star Wars figures here from the original trilogy. Except for that one, I think he's from the Andor show. And you have down here in the shadows, hard to see, from the prequel trilogy. They're all able to stand upright except for young Anakin there has to lean against the pillar. So, that's all for now. I'll take the last picture. Oh, and it's highly appropriate that these original trilogy Star Wars figures happen to be lined up exactly in front of my original mid-90s expanded universe Star Wars books featuring those characters.